are awesome. Thank you all for joining in. We'll be getting started in just a moment. Just waiting to see if Raudette is showing up. All right. So here she is. Awesome. All right, Raudette. I think you can see me okay. Can you?
Yes. Can you hear me? Good.
Yes. Is there an echo, anyone? Okay. You can go in and speak, Raudette.
Okay, good. Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining us. My name is Raudette Jones. I'm just want to say that today's African American Heritage Demonstration is sponsored by Filbert Street Garden and the Greater Baybrook Alliance. Greater Baybrook Alliance organization is a nonprofit organization that's located in Brooklyn. They have revitalization programs in the Curtis Bay, Brooklyn, and Brooklyn Park areas. Please visit us on our Facebook page. Hit the like button to visit our projects that we are engaged in. With further ado, we are presenting Miss Crystal Forman, the Holistic Wellness Health Chef. Thank you, Crystal, for joining us today and doing the demonstration.
Thank you, Raudette. Whoops. All right, I think you all can see and hear me again, okay? All right, thank you, Raudette. So I am Crystal Forman. I'm going to have to bend down a little bit because I adjusted my camera a little bit. So happy greetings, and we're going to get started. This is our African Heritage Cooking Demo, African American Heritage Cooking Demo. We are still in African American History, National Black History Month, and we are going to make some traditional dishes from Africa as well as the Americas, where our African ancestors brought us all these yummy, delicious meals and recipes. So we're going to get started with our Hoppin John. We're also going to make a sweet potato pie, cornbread, and some smoky, savory greens. So we're going to do kale today. So we're going to get started with our Hoppin John. And I have my saucepan here. I'm going to add 2.5 cups of my veggie broth. If you don't have veggie broth, you can just use water and flavor it up well. I'm going to change the camera angle in 1 moment. All right. I have it on high heat. If you don't want to add salt, you don't need to if you're using store-bought broth, just because it usually has sodium in it already. Just going to adjust this camera one more time. So we're using brown rice today. And we like to use brown rice because it has a lot of protein in it as well as fiber. Turn this down just a little bit. So our Hoppin John, we have our black-eyed peas, which is a traditional bean from West Africa that was brought to the Americas, and also rice. A lot of different brown rices that we grow here and red rice we grow here in the United States came from Africa, from our African ancestors who brought it over during this transatlantic slave trade. So they knew to make sure that they brought supplies with them, and our women would actually braid rice and beans and seeds in their hair. And so they were expert agriculturalists and knew how to grow no matter where they were. So I'm going to go in and add in 1 cup of my brown rice. And we're going to let that cook for about 25 minutes. So I'm turning my heat down to a medium low so it simmers. And we'll get going with everything else. So while that is cooking, I'm going to actually start with our sweet potato pie because that takes about 45 minutes to bake. You should have received a link with all of the recipes. The recipes are also on the website at holistic-wellnessandhealth.com. And just go to the blog section and you'll see it. So you want to make sure you wash your sweet potatoes very well. If you are not using organic sweet potatoes, make sure you're soaking them in baking soda water, about a gallon or 2 of water, and just a few teaspoons of baking soda to rinse off as much of the pesticides and chemicals as you can. I am using organic sweet potatoes today. I've already baked them for about an hour at 400 degrees in the oven, and then I let them cool to touch. So just going to peel it. Because these are organic, you can just save the skins to make your own veggie broth, or you could just eat them how they are as well. Totally up to you. This is an interactive class. Hi, Tavon. Hi, Erica. Awesome. Good. It's a good angle. Good, good, good. Awesome. So everyone says good to go. So hi, everyone. Thank you all so much for joining in and speaking as well. Let me move that banner off of the bottom. So yes, definitely make sure you subscribe to the channel. Just going to remove that. Then you can see more of my screen. Awesome. Now going back so I can see the comments. Awesome. Thank you all so much. It's good to see you all. Some familiar faces and new ones as well. So I'm just peeling off the skin of our sweet potato here. Traditionally, a lot of sweet potato dishes or the ones that we see recipes for calls for, especially with the pies, milk and eggs. I'm going to show you an awesome way to make it even actually taste better. You don't have to add any cholesterol to it. And it's less expensive because we're not using ingredients like eggs. So just peeling all of that off. And the cool thing is that when you make it without the eggs, you can actually taste it and see how it is. Some sweet potatoes are so sweet that you really don't have to add any sugar at all, even with it being a pie. So like, depending on the sweetness, you might not need to add as much sugar, or it might not be a very sweet potato, so you might want to add a little more. So we're going to put in about a cup and a half of our sweet potatoes. You can also use canned sweet potatoes, sweet potato puree will work as well. And I also have this as a white sweet potato, so it's white on the inside. It has a white flesh. A lot of dishes in Africa, they use yams. And so yams are a little starchier than and hardier than the sweet potatoes. But our the African indigenous, or the people from Africa, when they came here, they recognized this as something familiar. And so they would make a lot of dishes using sweet potatoes that they would have formerly used yams for. So we have our sweet potato here, nice and mashed. I'm about to mash. So if you have a food processor, you can put everything in the food processor and just let it go, super easy. But in the past, they use forks and potato mashers and their hands. So that's what we're going to. We're going to use a potato masher today. I'm going to mix my dry ingredients separate from the wet. So I'm considering the wet ingredients our potato as well as our butter. I'm using a vegan butter, plant-based butter today. I like to use coconut oil as well, so I'll use either one of those. And the plant-based butter has gotten a lot less expensive. Like if you get Country Crock or I can't believe it's not butters, plant-based, is actually less expensive than like real butter, and it doesn't have any cholesterol in it, and quite frankly, it has an awesome taste. So we have 1/4 cup of our butter. I'm going to add in my brown sugar. So the brown sugar and the white sugar are going to be treated like liquids in this dish. So I'm adding in 1/2 cup of my brown sugar and 1/4 cup of my white sugar. So we'll just mix that all together. If you have a purple sweet potato, you can use that as well. Get your mussels in there and mash it up. I kind of like having the hand mashed version more than the food processor. The food processor comes out a little bit too smooth, almost like store-bought, whereas this is more like Southern style and still might have a little bit of chunks in it. And you can also, like, when you're cooking, I always say cook with love. So you can actually put some love into your food while you're actually mixing it all together. Can you also, oh, someone said they sound cut out. Oh, okay, so everyone can still hear and see me. Okay, cool. Yeah, the white ones, the white sweet potatoes are on the dry side. And take a little more effort to mix it in, but it is very tasty and nutritious as well. They do have a different flavor. Some people will ask me if they taste different than the orange ones. The white ones do taste differently, but they have that sweet potato flavor, but it's just a little milder. I like it. So use what you have, whatever you want to use. So this is nice and mixed in. I'm going to mix our dry ingredients separately. So for that, I'm going to add in 3 tablespoons of cornstarch, or you can use tapioca starch as well. I'm using cornstarch today. 3 tablespoons of all-purpose flour. I'm using unbleached all-purpose flour. If you want to make this gluten-free, you can use almond flour, but if you need to make it gluten-free and nut-free, you can use whatever gluten-free flour mix out there, and you can add that in. I'm going to add some pink Himalayan salt. So this 1/4 teaspoon. I like the pink salt because it has 84 minerals in it, and it doesn't raise the blood pressure quite as fast as some of the other salts out there. It's a good one to use, and it has a great flavor. And I'm going to add in 1 teaspoon of my cinnamon. I'm using I think it's Ceylon cinnamon today, but whatever cinnamon you have. And then if you want, you can add nutmeg, cloves, ginger, just like a pinch of each, just to give it a different like heat or flavoring to it. The ginger adds like a nice little spice. Put that in, and that's it. I don't have lemon zest, but it is good with lemon zest, or you can even use lemon extract for this. That's nice and mixed, and we're going to mix it all together. So our flours are acting as our binder, which will make it nice and easy. It'll make it easier to slice our sweet potatoes. So instead of adding egg or anything like that, you won't need to do that. I do have a recipe on the website for pie crust. I'm not going to make the pie crust today. We actually went on and bought it. When you are trying to do 100% plant-based cooking, make sure you read the ingredients on pie crust. Sometimes they change it up throughout the year. I am using the Giant brand, and sometimes they have lard in it, which is animal fat, and sometimes they use palm oil. So I think it's based on whatever you can get the cheapest. So just make sure you always check your ingredients to make sure, even for something you bought like 100 times, don't check the ingredients because they change up. Sometimes they're like what they're using. So I have our sweet potato here. I taught this class Cherry Hill, and everyone was just eating the batter. Like, it's really good just the way it is without baking it, but we are going to bake it up. So I have my pie shell here. I usually like to take it out of the pan that it comes in because I don't like to cook in aluminum. So you can just take it out and put it in another pie pan, or you can line it with, take it out, line it with parchment paper and put it back on just to make sure you're not cooking with that aluminum. So I'm just going to take my spatula and get this in. So if anyone has any questions, let me know. The blue, but oh no, so I love Country Crock. Is it the one? Yes, Country Crock's plant-based butter is super inexpensive even when it's not on sale, and it's delicious. My family loves it, including my omnivore. Like everyone loves it. So it's a great one. And then there's also, I can't believe it's not butter. They have a plant-based version as well. So because I use the white sweet potato, it's going to be a little lighter on the orange side. Not quite as deep orange, but it's still going to taste good. Let's get that all in. Nice. All right. So this will go in the oven at 375 for about 20 minutes. And then you can just make sure something's under it so that your crust doesn't get burnt. What I'll usually do is use a pan like under this and just put it in for 40 minutes. Check on it, and then if it needs a few more minutes, I'll do that as well. So this is ready to go in the oven. All right. So let's get back to our Hoppin' John. So I'm going to go on and cut up the ingredients for that. All right. Yes, Country Crock. So yes, I used to use Earth Balance, and Earth Balance is like twice the cost of Country Crock, and it is good. It tastes good, but I actually like Country Crock better. I also love Miyoko's butter. She has two of them. One is made with cashews. So just telling you, it's made with cashews means it's expensive. But it's also, she also has a new one made with oats. And I love that one too. But her products are definitely a little pricier, and it's hard to find. You can usually only find it at like organic markets and like specialty stores. Most regular stores don't carry her stuff yet. Yeah. If you leave a few seeds in, that's totally cool. Our pepper seeds actually have protein in it. So unfortunately, we've gotten away from eating like a lot of the things that are like, people just throw this away. And you could totally eat all of this. There's nothing wrong with it. We've just gotten used to throwing things away. And in the past, people did not throw things away unnecessarily. But I'm going to use that for soup stock. So it'll still get used. I'm just slicing through my green bell peppers. So for those who don't know, green peppers are actually bell peppers that have not ripened. So usually if you let it stay on the plant longer, it'll actually turn into red, orange, yellow, or purple pepper with other colors. But it's still very high in vitamin C, which is great for us this time of year. We should still be working on our immune system. Vitamin C is also great for our skin. It helps with our collagen so that we don't have to worry about the lines in our face a little earlier than needed. All right, so we have our peppers here. Our rice is looking good. Let's see, I will seek Country Crock. Yes, Trader Joe's. I think I have seen it there, Miyoko. I know for certain Mom's has it. Trader Joe's carries a few of Miyoko's products. And then you can also order online. You can order stuff online. So for those who are joining in late, we already have our rice and broth going here. I am dicing up our bell peppers, and we're going to add some diced yellow onion as well to our pan. So I'm actually going to put all of this in here. I'm going to just wait until our rice gets a little more done. Yeah, she does. Trader Joe's does carry Miyoko's cream cheese. She has a few of them that are absolutely delicious. Yeah. I actually like hers better than a lot of the other ones out there. So we have our bell pepper here. And we're going to get started on our cornbread. Yes. So I love this cornbread recipe. I made it for my parents who they absolutely love cornbread, especially my dad. And so when I presented it, I wanted to make sure it was really good so that they would like it and trust me to make more things for them. And they love this cornbread, and it's super simple to make. So I believe you all have the recipe for this as well. So just getting everything over so you all can see. I have my apple cider vinegar here, which I actually got at a Dollar Tree in Virginia, and it's raw, which I was very surprised to see. So it's raw, unfiltered apple cider vinegar. In Maryland, I only found the ones at the Dollar Tree that have they have been filtered. So just cool. Keep your eyes out for it. Yes, Erica, you can follow along with me. Yeah, and this will be available as a replay. So definitely check that out. But yeah, I can't wait to eat it myself. It's gonna be good. So we have our vinegar, our milk. Let me get my other container real quick. Wipe this out. So we need let's see, which camera do I have on? Okay, I think you all can still see everything okay. 2 teaspoons of our apple cider vinegar to 2 cups of our soy milk here. 1 moment. Add in 2 cups. You can also use almond milk or really any other milk will work just fine for this. I'm going to add in 2 teaspoons of our apple cider vinegar. So if you're just joining in, say hi, let me know you're here. Make sure you subscribe to the channel as well. So I just added 2 teaspoons of apple cider vinegar to our soy milk. And I'm going to whisk that together. I just want to vigorously whisk it. And this is basically making this almost like a buttermilk. It's not going to get super thick, but it's that same principle. So it's almost like a buttermilk. Just whisk it very well. It's starting to foam as well. I kind of see that starting to foam up. We're going to let that sit for a moment. Into our bowl, we're going to add in 1 cup of all-purpose flour. This is the unbleached flour. And 1.5 cups of our yellow cornmeal, or you can use white cornmeal as well. This is 1.5 cups. If you have any questions as we're going along, feel free to ask. Awesome. And I'm going to add in 2 teaspoons of baking soda. Does anyone have any questions about anything? So yes, we're using flour and cornmeal, and it'll make it a nice, nice texture for our cornbread. 1 teaspoon of our salt. Once again, pink Himalayan salt, or you can use whatever salt you have available. I'm not a big fan of the iodized salt because it only has 2 minerals in it, and it's been very processed, has chemicals in it as well. So I prefer to go with the sea salt or one of the natural salts out there. I'm going to add in a tablespoon of my natural sugar, totally optional. You can do this without sugar as well. I'm just going to take my whisk. You can kind of see it's got a nice little foam on here. Just mix the dry ingredients together well. Then we're going to mix in our wet and dry. So the dishes that we're making today are also great for New Year's Eve, traditional New Year's Eve dishes. A lot of people will eat cornbread for money. It's supposed to represent gold. They'll eat greens for money as well, represent the grain of money. We have the black-eyed peas, which symbolizes luck. So people will eat that for good luck. That's in our Hoppin John. And well, sweet potato pie is just fun to eat. But reason why our black-eyed peas are considered good luck is because during the Civil War, the Union, the Northern Army they actually were burning a lot of the crops in the South. And one of the things they did not burn was the black-eyed peas, also known as cow peas, because it was considered livestock food. And so they left the food for the livestock, mostly because they were going to take some of them themselves, but also they didn't think of it as being important. But African descendants knew the value in it, and they ate it. So it kept them alive. It was one of the few crops that was not destroyed. It was destroyed during that time. So it was considered good luck to be able to find it, and it just became a tradition ever since in America. So let's get our cornbread in our container here, and that'll go in the oven as well at 400 degrees. So let's use this. It looks liquidy, but it's going to firm up really, really well. I think you all can see all of this. If you're using muffin tins, just fill it about 2/3 of the way. Give it room to rise. So we're going to go on and make, let's check on our rice first. Looking good. We'll take the other stove down. So we're going to saute up our onions. See everything. So we're going back to doing our Hoppin John. After that, I'm going to add in some oil to my pot here. Enough to coat the bottom. You can use whatever oil you want. Preferably a more neutral flavored oil, like cooking oil, canola oil. I like to use grapeseed oil or avocado oil when I'm cooking because it takes heat very well. But use what you have. I'm going to add in the equivalent of 1 diced yellow onion, so about half of this. When you're doing food prep or meal prep, it's really cool to just be able to process a lot of onions like ahead of time for the week, and it's already ready to go for you. I'm going to go in and add my bell peppers in as well. Let that get translucent. I'll wait a little bit. Let's go and cut up our 1 clove of garlic. So this is a bulb, and when you open it, you get the clove. You can also use dry garlic or dehydrated minced garlic, or the jar garlic. You can use any of those for this. It will all work. Just going to mince up. This is a nice fat. Let's see. I think you all can. Yes, you can see. I think you can probably hear the onions are sizzling nicely as well. So the black-eyed peas, they're known as cow peas in West Africa. They are grown and were grown back in the past as well in West and Central Africa. And they're still traditionally used in a lot of dishes there and of course here as well. Just let that cook for a few minutes. And really this heat, is really hot, so it's actually cooking pretty quickly. This I'm going to add in my thyme. If you have fresh, that's awesome. This time of year, it's hard to find fresh unless you're doing it yourself, but growing it at home. So we just need a teaspoon of our dried thyme added in. It's cool to add your seasonings to your oil. It'll actually flavor everything really, really well. You can get it all in there with the oil first before adding everything else. So we have our smoked paprika here. I love this stuff. We're going to add a tablespoon. You can find smoked paprika at most grocery stores, like Giant and Safeway will have it. It's usually, if you're looking for it on the rack, it's usually on the bottom left of their little stand, their standard stand. I love to buy it bulk when I can. There's a store in Silver Spring that sells it bulk. It's called Living Well. So I like to go there for my bulk seasoning. I also love to go to a lot of the international stores for that. Let me let y'all see. So nice and flavor it up. I'm going to add a little bit of our cayenne, so you can make it as hot as you want. We'll turn up the heat as well. I'm using cayenne pepper. I'm going to put in just a little bit. The recipe calls for about half teaspoon. I'm going to put in just a little less than that because I'm not a big fan of having my tongue burning from a lot of spice. So just a little bit. And just a little salt this as well. So we're using the pink salt. I'm putting in a little less than 1/4 of a teaspoon. All right. And then we're going to add our black-eyed peas. So they look like eyes on peas. Let's go black dot there. I'm using canned. I love this. It's an expensive recipe. The canned things, you can get a can for anywhere from 50 cents to $1 a can. So it's really inexpensive. And if you're doing dry beans, first of all, these are one of the quicker cooking dry beans. So you just rinse it, make sure you check through it well. I had some black eyed peas recently that they dried and it had a stone in it. So make sure you check really well, rinse it really well, and then soak it for 6 to 8 hours or overnight. If you need to do the quick method, you can just cook it for or let the water boil and let it sit in hot water for about an hour. Pour that water off and then cook it. I prefer to let it soak overnight. I do notice a difference between that and the quick method. So just something to think about, like if you're making it dry. And a pound of dry beans is usually about $1, and you get about 12 servings from a dried bag of beans. So that is really impressive. $1 for like 12 servings of anything is really good. Let's see. Oh yeah. Yes, Erica. So it's all right. It's very nice and colored. Let me turn this more. You can see that. Our rice is about done. I'm going to take that off. I'm going to add our rice to our beans. And then let's continue to cook for about another 10 minutes or so. And that is done. Just mix it, make sure it's all incorporated very well. Some people like to add additional veggies. I've seen some people add carrots to their Hoppin John. So if you have some other veggies that you want to just use up, definitely go on and add it in. It'll still be good. So I'm going to turn this down to medium low. Just let that cook for a little while longer. So while that is going, let's go on and make our savory greens, which is super good. So I'm going to actually move some stuff around really quickly. So does anyone have any questions about anything? Our ingredients out for our Smoky Kale. So if anybody's been to any of my in-person cooking demos, probably seen my Smoky Kale and garbanzo bean dish. So this is like a variation of that dish. And it is absolutely delicious. We're actually using kale from Filbert Street Garden. So I would like to thank GBA, so Greater Baybrook Association, as well as Filbert Street, for partnering with me to present this cooking demo and showcasing some produce from Filbert as well. So let's get this here. All right. I think you all can see here. Okay. So does anyone have any questions about anything as we're going along? I can still see the chat, so just let me know. So the recipe calls for 2 bunches of kale. Because it is winter and some of the produce is growing a little slow there, we just picked 1 bunch. So I'm going to make this like half the recipe of what you see there. So it's going to be 1 bunch of our kale here. I'm just going to. So when it's coming out of the ground, this is what it looks like. And a lot of times people just harvest it or pulling down the leaves off of the stem. You can totally juice this stem here or use it for your soup stock. So I just like to turn it upside down and just strip the leaves off and save the stem for something else. If I were doing a really slow cooking dish, then I would let the kale, like let the stem stay on there. But I don't like to cook my kale for like really long periods of time. So I will just take a lot of the stem off. So once again, upside down, just pull it. Kids love to do this. So if you have some young folks in your life and they're around, get them to do this for you. You can also use your knife and just cut it away from your stem. So we have our beautiful, this is curly kale. They also grow different varieties of kale there. So a lot of the farms in Baltimore will grow red Russian kale and what's it, dinosaur kale as well. Let's see. I batch cook dried beans. Just Cat's Lovers has looked up how much in 15-ounce can and can freeze them and always on hand. I totally agree with you. I love doing that, like batch cooking beans. And I love batch cooking rice as well. And if they both freeze really, really well. And you save so much money too by doing it that way. And you save time. All of that. Oh, this cute little bunch. Just going to take the stems off. So me and Renette and I picked this just a couple of days ago. So super farm fresh kale. So I'm just going to gather it and just coarsely chop through. I like to make my kale more like when I'm ready to eat it bite size, so I don't have to cut it while I am eating. But if you like bigger pieces, you can leave it bigger as well. I love kale for its nutrients. It's very high in vitamin C and iron. And in order for iron to be absorbed in your body, you actually need vitamin C with it. So this has that. It also has a lot of other minerals in it and calcium as well. So I'm gonna switch you over. I want to use the wok for this dish. If you don't have a wok, you can use a frying pan or in a pot. I am using sesame oil today. I love pure sesame oils. Got nice, rich flavor and scent, and it makes everything taste just really good. I usually buy it from the Asian stores. Either I'm in Baltimore, so I like to go to Asia Food on York Road. It's a little mom and pop store. They're awesome there and very knowledgeable. So if you have any questions about anything, you can ask them. And they have a great selection of spices as well. So I'm using our sesame oil. I'm going to add in my yellow onion. So this is equivalent to 1 diced onion. Or you can do spices, however you want to do it. Once that cooks down some, I'm going to add the water. And guys, for the Hoppin John, I forgot to put my peppers in. So I'm going to go in and add it now and then finish cooking up. It'll be all right. Add some color to our dish as well. That's just about done. I'm going to actually turn the heat off and just let it continue to cook in there. So the peppers will get cooked. It just won't be as, I like to usually fry them in the oil a little bit, but this will be good. So we have our oil going, with our onions. I'm going to add our garlic here. So it calls for 3 cloves of fresh garlic. I'm going to dice that up and add that to our onions. You can see, yes, you can see. Awesome. So if you're just joining us, we are now making our smoky kale dish. I am dicing up our mince or our garlic now to make it minced. You can make them as big or small as a mince as you would like. And make them a little smaller. So got our garlic in here. And using fresh tomatoes off the vine. And we just need about half a cup. Or you can add more. I'm actually going to go on, even though I'm using half a bunch or half the amount of grams, I'm keeping everything else the same. We're using our beautiful tomato here. So for those who are new to me, I go live every Friday at 5 p.m. Eastern Time on YouTube. Show people how to use farm fresh produce, CSA, the food from the CSA shares, as well as food from the produce boxes that are being given away. So sometimes you put things in a box that people are not very familiar with. So my goal is to teach people how easy it is to use those dishes or use those ingredients. It doesn't have to be scary at all. And, it is the toasted sesame oil. It's the dark one. Because there's the light colored sesame oil, Erica, that is so the light colored one is what a lot of people will use in the skin and hair. You can cook with it as well. But it doesn't have that super rich sesame scent. This is when you're getting like a lot of Asian dishes, this is the sesame oil that I actually use because it's very fragrant. It has a lot of flavor to it. The other sesame oil, it's a lighter color. It's great to cook with as well. It does well with high heat. I just usually use grapeseed oil for that, but you can use whatever you want to use and whatever you have available as well. Let's see. Can you use canned top 5 roasted tomatoes? You sure can, because I do that all the time and it's delicious. Yeah, you can use canned tomatoes. I'm just using fresh today because I have it available. But during this time of year, I use a lot of canned tomatoes. Unfortunately, I didn't do any canning this past year, but had I would have just used what I have. I'm going to add half of this cubed orange bell pepper. You see the still in there, so I'll get it. I'll leave it in there. And other pepper. So yes, there will be more juice if you use can, but it's fine for this dish. It's actually good to have a little liquid. The recipe calls for adding water, and you don't have to add the water if everything seems so dry. These tomatoes are actually pretty nice and juicy. So we're going to add our kale in here. You get that stirring. So this will help it cook a little faster. I'm going to add a little bit of filtered water. That'll help it steam a little bit too. I'm going to put it on high heat. Let this cook up. So rice became very popularized in South Carolina in the 1700s. And like I was saying earlier, West African women would actually braid like rice and seeds into their hair. And because they were experts at growing, they knew exactly how to grow rice and processed it when they came over here to the Americas. Rice is also very affordable. You can get a bag for about $2, and a bag of rice, like a 1 pound or so, will do 12 servings as well. You look at a lot of traditional dishes all over the world. Beans and rice are just a staple, whether you're in Africa, Asia, or South America. It's really good. So let's add our ingredients that make it smoky. So we have our liquid smoke here. I'm going to add in about close to a fourth of a teaspoon. I'm going to add a little bit more than that. And our smoked paprika. And if you want, you can also add some nutritional yeast to this. So I did my smoked paprika. So you can add just a couple of tablespoons, or just about 1 tablespoon is what I'm going to add. A nutritional yeast is high in B vitamins, especially B12. It has fiber and protein as well. It adds a nice nutty, cheesy flavor. You can find it at Walmart, Giant. A lot of the stores carry it now. You can order it online, or you can get it from the bulk section at Mom's, My Organic Market. They have a really good price on it as well. So give me one moment, I'm gonna let this finish, and then I'm gonna show you all our pie and our cornbread. So let me go get that real quick. Give this to you all, and I'll be right back. I'm gonna add my smoked paprika in first. The recipe calls for, technically, I guess you can call it optional. I'm gonna put in about 2 teaspoons, because I'm just going heavy on it right now. Smoked paprika. Stir that all in. Add a little more water. And that'll be done in a second. It'll be coming up. Okay, so I just did all these dishes in about an hour. So it didn't take long at all to cook all of this. This is a nice multi-colored dish. We have a green, red, and orange, as well as white produce in here. I would say to eat the different colors of the rainbow. You can. Here is our sweet potato pie and our cornbread. As you can see, it's nice and firmed up. So even though the batter looked kind of liquidy, it firms up well. So those were cooked ahead of time. I'm going to actually put the rest in later. I am cooking from my office today because I want to make sure I had good Wi-Fi. So it's all good. So I'll bake that a little later. We do have an oven here. So this is done. So any questions? All right. Oh, somebody, MM said that they get sad when a large bunch of grains cooks down to such a small serving. I do too. That's why I love cabbage, because cabbage is one of the super hardy grains that doesn't cook down quite as much as some other grains. Spinach, I mean, it's almost like, why? You put it in some heat and it shrinks so much. But kale kind of retains some, like you can fill this whole thing up and it's going to cook down, but it's not as bad as some other grains. Collard greens kind of hold up okay too. Yeah, I agree. It's like you make this big dish and then you come back and check on your pot and you have like this, this much left, not too much. Yes, you can use whatever color pepper you want. I like to use red pepper and orange, as well as yellow. They have a sweeter flavor than the green, and they have more like phytonutrients, lycopene in it, and some other phytonutrients that you don't necessarily find in the green. Oh, what was the other question? Can you send small portions Oh, can I send some small portions for you too? I wish we had that technology. We are not there yet, but I'm sure someone is working out a way for us to be able to at least teleport some stuff around. But I would if I could. I truly would. Yes. Let's see. That's why I like buying my greens already made from Soul Vegetarian. Yeah. It's definitely cool to be able to support different businesses as well. How great food through the computer. Oh yeah. Oh, you got your plate ready. Cool. Nice. Let me just make sure. I don't want to make sure I'm not missing any questions. So I'm just going to kind of scroll back up and start from the beginning. So, hi from New York. Hi, Ernestine. I appreciate you watching and joining in regularly. And let's see. So it's good to go. Just scrolling down, making sure I don't miss anyone's comments. One second. Over. And if you have any other questions, you can still ask if you're watching this. You're as a replay. Just make sure you put in the comments in, and I should be able to see that. See, Cats Lover, you're in from Silver Spring, so you actually have Living Well down there near you. So that's a great resource for people who are vegetarian or vegan. They have a huge supply of products. Let's see. With boiling the potatoes and large chunks also work. Okay, I'm sorry I missed that question. Yes, so I used to do my sweet potatoes that way. I've been cooking sweet potato pie for like 30 years. And the way I originally learned it was I would peel it, dice it, put it in water. I don't like to do that anymore because you lose, like when you pour that water off, you see all of the beautiful beta carotene getting washed away. So I actually prefer to bake it. When I bake it, I'm keeping more flavor in my potato. And it's just so much easier than having to like peel it and do all of the things. Because you saw, like I just used my hand and removed the skin. It was super easy. I didn't have to use a peeler. And it's just better. So I prefer, yes, you can do the bowl method. I did it for years, but I've learned that baking it is easier. You retain more nutrients and you retain more flavor. So definitely do what you want to do with it. But my reasoning for switching from boiling to baking is because it's easier and it's more nutritious. Yes. Let's see, what other questions? Yes, yeah, baking definitely. You get that nice natural sweetness out of it when you bake it. And sometimes I'll bake them to the point where you start seeing that caramelization coming out. You know, it's good to go. When you're doing a dish like sweet potato pie, you just want to make sure it's cooked all the way through, so you're not like struggling to mash it. Sometimes the center doesn't get completely done. So this is something to think about. A few more questions. Comments. Oh, thank you for subscribing. A cat named Raven. Cool. Yes, so to answer that question, you can definitely use other flour other than the white flour. So I've even made it with whole wheat flour with all of the germ and bran still in it. So it's up to you. Well, I should say germ in it, but yeah, it's up to you, like what type of flavor. When I make it with that, the cornbread's a little heavier, but it still tastes good. So definitely feel free to use whatever you have available and what you like. I always tell people a recipe is a template. Like change it up to match your flavor, like your flavor profile. Just checking through, make sure I didn't miss anything else. Oh, someone says this is a Cat's Lover 8484 had some kale cauliflower bites for breakfast. Yes, that sounds really good. This is actually National Hot breakfast month. And so yesterday for the Live at 5, I actually made some Southwestern tofu scramble and vegan pancakes. So definitely check that out. That's on the YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and you can hit the bell for notifications to be notified when I go live. Mondays, I usually go live at 5 as well, and I'll do something about gardening, cooking, or a workshop. So for those who don't know me, I am a health and wellness educator and coach. So I'm a holistic plant-based coach, chef, and general educator as well. So I teach people how to grow their own food, and I do garden consultations. I'm also a Baltimore City Master Gardener and a permaculture designer. So I really, everything food, from growing it, harvesting it, preserving it, cooking it, and eating it, all of those things. I also do mindfulness meditation and meditation videos, and I'll be adding more to the YouTube channel, so make sure you look out for that. As we go into spring, I'll be sharing more gardening videos. I've had some videos up from last year, and I like to focus on container gardening and gardening in small spaces. So if you're in like an urban area, that's perfect. And also focus on organic gardening. So for those who don't know, there's like organic and veganic, and I have information on that as well. So I'll be sharing more videos, different types of videos on Mondays, grocery store tours. So if there's anything that you want to see me cook, if there's anything that you are interested in seeing me make in a healthier manner, just let me know, and I will get that in a rotation of cooking videos. General Soul's tofu bites. Are you saying that's what you want me to make? Because I can do that. And I could do the tofu version as well. But yeah, I'm totally for doing General Soul's anything. So just let me know what you are interested in, and I will get the invitation. So I know it's a little over past 2. Thank you all so much for hanging in with me today. And I will see you all Monday at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel, like our Facebook and our Instagram. So that's at Holistic Wellness and Health. No space. So at Holistic Wellness and Health. And share this video with your family and friends. Right now it's still considered unlisted because it's for a private event, but I can open it up for everyone to be able to see as well. So many peace and blessings to everyone. Stay safe out there, and I will see you all next time. Take care. Bye. You're welcome, Tavon. Donna says she's new to this plant-based cooking, but wants to know how to cook food from scratch instead of processed foods, not familiarized with the different food combinations yet. So you are on the right channel, Donna. I go live every Friday showing how to cook like real food. I don't use a whole lot of processed vegan food when I'm cooking for like the public and showing people how to cook. I want to actually show you all how to use real plants and make it into something easy, nutritious, delicious, and fun. So I do eat processed vegan food, and I will buy it on occasion. But my goal is to teach you all how to actually use like produce and make it into something awesome. So you are definitely at the right place, and I am here to help you on your journey to a nice, healthy, plant-based lifestyle. So I will see you next time. Peace and blessings. Oh, we're still getting comments. Okay, so yes, cooked kale separately with spices, or with spices separately. But so you cook the spices separate? Not, separate with spices. Okay. Oh, separate with this. Okay, gotcha. I'll be watching. Nice. I look forward to seeing you more, Donna. All right, peace and blessings. Thank you, everyone.